Hi guys, it is me, the one and only 𝖊𝖈𝖐 here, and today it is the last, the final, the end of the trilogy, things I hate about LPS series. Some of you wanted a third part, and I feel like I kind of need to make a third part because I want to make a video about things I want in the LPS series. But before I make that one, I want to talk about some things that I hate. I feel like that makes more sense. You'll just have to see when I make the video about things I want to see, and then this whole little thing will make sense. So I will start off very quick with a few disclaimers. First off, you're allowed to like the things that I hate. You're allowed to disagree with me, and you're allowed to do these things, that's fine. I don't think you're a bad person for doing these things, or liking these things or anything, and it's like, it's okay to agree to disagree and be civil. Oh, that's my cat. Hello, Narvi. I might actually have to move him if he's gonna be here when I try to film, but like, I don't want to, he's so cute. But yeah, after this, I don't think I'm gonna make a part 4 of this, because there are things about LPS series that I don't hate. There are things that I like, and eventually I'm gonna run out, you know. I don't wanna pretend to hate something that I don't hate. I want these to be my honest opinions. And I also want it to be specific to LPS series, because that's kind of the whole point. Also, one thing, I forgot to mention this, but yes, my mascot has a tail! Look! I changed her tail and it looks 10 times cooler now. I like fluffy tails. Okay, so the first thing that I hate is white rooms with just white walls and maybe a white floor as well. I think the reason I don't like it, it's because it doesn't really say anything about the character. Like, I could make a whole video about why I hate the white rooms and white walls, because there are multiple reasons, and I have legitimately thought about making a video just about that sort of set design. So if you guys are interested, let me know. And yeah, I'll try to make it at some point, but I don't like it for a lot of reasons. One of them, it doesn't say anything about the main character, okay? If you're in the main character's room, alright, and just white walls, white floor, I mean, yeah, some people like that, but I feel like a lot of people have different interests and hobbies, so if there is no, like, or they have like a favorite color or patterns they like, and sure, some people like white walls. Like, you can say so much about the character based off how their room is designed, where maybe they had a cringe, not cringe, but maybe they had a face when they were 13, when they really liked teal, and they asked their parent, hey, can you paint my walls in a teal color? And now they have teal walls. I know a friend like that personally, and you know, those teal walls says something about her past, and to a certain extent who she is now. She hates those walls. She wants a different color for them. And you know, stuff like that. Minor things like that can say something about a character as well as a person. When I look at my friends and their rooms, it says something about them. If somebody has posters in their room, this is something I try to do for my series. The walls can say something about them. Like, so when people have bland white rooms or walls in the character, in the protagonist's room, it's just such a wasted potential, because you could do something with the room, you know. You could reveal character in a very subtextual, not even subtextual, but an indirect way. And yeah, it's a bit sad that people don't utilize that when there's so much potential for character development. The second point that I have is that I hate inaccurate portrayals of mental health. It can be anything. It can be depression, anxiety, eating disorders, addiction, just the whole DSM-5 essentially. I feel like this is a topic I could talk about for hours on end, and honestly, it would be kind of fun to talk about it for hours on end, but I'm not a psychologist, so maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't think it is wrong or bad to write about something you have never experienced. I absolutely detest and hate the argument that in order to write about something you have to have experience it with it yourself. I don't think that's true at all. I hate it. And if we applied those arguments and logic to fiction, fiction would be so boring. Most people's day-to-day lives are very boring, and that's fine. I don't think you should be forced to put yourself out there like that, because if it was like a law or moral obligation or forbidden for somebody to write about something they have not experienced, every writer would have to out themselves. Also, we would not have genres like sci-fi and fantasy, so come on, let's let people write what they want. But, and I strongly believe you have to research the things you write about. Now, I understand some things might be terrifying to Google, because you don't want your search history to be too questionable, but I think people should research things they write about that they have not experienced. And I think you can portray things you have not gone through without experiencing them. And I hate seeing people portray mental health and serious topics inaccurate because it harms people who actually go through those things. Your writing should not harm other people. Accurate and good representations is more important than just having the representation for the sake of it. So if you want to include a topic but can't include it properly, cut it out of the story. Kill your darlings, so to speak. Anyway, a less serious and more fun point that I actually feel somewhat qualified to talk about. That is not how hair dye works! So I need to give you some context. I have dyed my hair since I was like 13 or something. I started off with dyeing my natural blonde hair to brown, then to blue black, and then the blue black faded to black. Then I did a split dye, so I had half black, half purple. Then I had red and black. Then I think I had the teal color after that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I had teal, I'm pretty sure. Then I had pink hair that accidentally turned into blonde hair because pink hair dye, oh my god, it gets out of the hair so fast. You cannot let it stay in the hair for that long. After the pink hair dye, I dyed a darker purple, kind of like my mascot's face. And by the way, when I say red hair dye, I mean red like my mascot's eyes, not ginger. No offense to ginger, so I just haven't dyed my hair that color. And then we have, what color did I do after? Oh yeah, I went back to red and black. Or did I go back to black and then to red and black? I don't remember. Then I went back to being blonde, but it's technically not naturally blonde. It's technically bleached and dyed into blonde, but I'm naturally blonde, so you know. So I have dyed my hair a lot of colors. I know a lot about hair dye, though I'm not a hairdresser and I'm not perfect, so take what I say with a grain of salt still. And there are a lot of series where I notice that the hair dyeing process is not portrayed accurately. First and foremost, if you dye your hair, it will slightly damage your hair. How much it damages your hair depends on a lot of factors. Okay, so usually they go to the salon to dye the hair, but I dyed it myself, and I've also been to the salon, so I've done both. I've gotten best of both worlds, and it's a lot of things don't make sense when they happen on LPS here. It can be minor things like the hairdresser process that most people might not even think about. Like if the hairdresser washes your hair, they will usually ask, like they want to make sure you're comfortable, so they will do that. They will make sure that you're comfortable and ask questions, but I don't see that ever. That's like not the biggest thing, but it's a bit weird. But then there's also bigger things that people get wrong about hair dye, just lots of things. There are a lot of times where, based off the LPS's original color, they would have to bleach it. In some cases it's like, well, maybe they didn't show the bleaching, because if you were to show the LPS getting their hair dye in real time, bleaching your hair can take about, I would say, roughly an hour. Same with dyeing your hair, but that depends a lot on what you're doing. But anyway, sometimes it's like, yeah, okay, maybe they just didn't specifically clarify that they didn't bleach it, and that's fine. Like that happens sometimes. But it's like they specifically are like, oh, I'm not gonna bleach my hair because they're scared of bleaching it. But then based off their previous color and the color they currently have, they would need to bleach it. Like that's just not how hair dye works. People are really scared of bleaching their hair, and to a certain degree I get it, it's fine, but it's also like, you know, sometimes the things, all the mountain of things you do to avoid bleaching your hair can be just as damaging, if not more damaging. And it's like, if you go to the hairdresser and do that and ask for that color when that's your original color, they're gonna bleach the hair at least a little bit because it's freaking necessary. Otherwise, you're not gonna get the results you want, and it's not gonna work. So just things like that. Since many LPS characters dye their hair, a lot of people get the hair dyeing process wrong. But then there's also like bigger things that they get wrong, and not just minor things. That is like, hair dye can be a bit dangerous if you don't know how to use it. Same with bleaching and just certain hair products. Even like if you want to repair and heal your hair, if you don't know how to do it correctly, your hair can fall off. Everything from hair dye to bleaching to hair care are just things that like you need to do them right or it can end up really badly. For example, you can get allergic reactions. Like if you're allergic, you can get allergic reactions, and if that's the case, you'll have to wash it off or go to the hospital or both. But then it's also like, you know, hair dye isn't supposed to be on the skin. Like if you get a little bit on the skin, that's fine, and that happens. If you get hair dye in your mouth or in your eyes or maybe even your nostrils, just call a doctor, because that can be very dangerous. Hair dye is not meant to be there. And if you get hair dye or hair bleach in your eye, you can go blind. saying that because I have seen a few series where like they pour or they plan to, or they straight up just pour hair dye on the main character and it's like, file a lawsuit.
Ew, this is so cringe. Guilty.
Go to the hospital right now. Like, that's so dangerous. And I'm like, go to court and go to the hospital. I know medical bills are very expensive in America, which is where the majority of all PS series take place, but go to the hospital. You don't want to be blind. Yeah, and it's like, sometimes they act like it's fucked up that somebody tried to literally pour hair dye on them and potentially make them go blind, but sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, didn't think they would do that to me. I can't look at. You should be angrier. If you have not dyed your hair or don't know how that works, that's fine. Watch Brad Mondo before you make your LPS series. That will help you a lot. The second point that I have that is kind of connected to this is I want more. Like, I want the characters to act like people commit crimes when they commit crimes. Like, for example, if you pour hair dye on somebody without their consent as a way to mess with them, a way to bully them, a prank, whatever, that's dangerous. Go to the hospital, file a lawsuit, and all that. Like in your real life when that happens. And in series too. And people don't need to be outraged in the series right away. I think the outrage needs to come eventually when somebody commits a dangerous freaking felony in the series. That is... This other point, I don't know what number we are, makes a lot of sense for me. Because I'm a nerd and I like learning things. But I want to hear the teachers in the background during school scenes. And they talk and have a lecture, because then I can learn something from it. Even if it's a subject I hate, I don't care. Like, I want to know, what is the teacher talking about? I don't want to hear blah blah blah. I don't only want to hear the characters talking. Like, in the background, as a background noise, I want to hear, okay kids, today we're gonna talk about World War II. I want to learn things. I'm a nerd. The next point is how it's usually the same type of character in the high school setting. Now, in a work setting, this is fine, but most people make the series in school. So let me explain, let me develop, or let me elaborate on this point, okay? So, in most countries, or a lot of times, the series takes place in America, and you have to go to school unless you're homeschooled, but generally you have to go to school. And since basically everybody has to go to a public school unless they are homeschooled or something, I don't know exactly how it works. All types of people are gonna be there. You're not gonna have the same girly girl, if that makes sense. No, you're gonna have different types of people. You're gonna have tomboys, goths, invisible nerdy ones. You're gonna have hippie dippy people. You're gonna have everything, is what I'm saying. Then they don't have all kinds of people. They just have the same type of girly kind of. I feel like basic sounds a bit derogatory, but I don't want it to sound derogatory, and just as an explanation for what the style they have looks like. But you know what I mean. I want a variety of not just clothing styles, but a variety of people. The next point is quite simple. Mom, too understanding, or dad, too understanding if they have a dad. Usually it's the parents or the mom that are just too understanding, too kind. No, it's okay, sweetie, I understand. Like, it's so... We all have had those moments where we commit arson, sell drugs to a homeless man, kill 3 orphans, and rob a bank. Like, those things happen, sweetheart, I understand. But I need to ground you for like 3 days, and then you can go back to school and everything. I understand. See you at dinner. Bye. Love ya. I didn't even commit arson. It was Ben. I feel like either the parents are too kind and understanding, or they're freaking abusive. There's no in between. I would rather have the abusive parent in the series, because that's what I do. The last point for this video, the absolute last point of things that I hate is no freaking independence. Like, when I went to like high school, college thingy, the school system is different here. I would usually take the bus to school or have some kind of ride. My mom only drove me once, and that was the first day, because, you know, like, that made sense for the first day. Like, you need to know where it is roughly, but like as a kid, most of the time I would either have some kind of ride, like a bus ride, I take the bus, or I would walk to school. My parents never drove me to school because there was other ways to do it, and they have lives, they have a work, they have jobs to attend, they have chores at home. They're not gonna drive me when it's not necessary. Mom, can you drive me to school? I'm too lazy to walk. Actually, yeah, sweetie, I can do that. You deserve to be driven to school. Like, it's fine, it's safe and everything. Why would you take the school bus? Wait, that actually worked? Yes, sweetie, I'll drive you to school. Even though I have a full-time job and your dad is dead, I have the money, time, and energy to drive you by myself to school. And come on. But yeah, those were all the points for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you thought it was funny or interesting, or you could learn something. If you want me to make any of the videos I mentioned in this video, let me know. Yeah, you have to subscribe, okay? The majority of my viewers are not subscribed. That needs to change. Now, leave a comment, like the video. That's very important. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye! He was with me during the entire time of this video. He was there when I recorded it, the entirety of the video. On the desk. Yeah, on the desk. And being cute, because he's cute. Isn't that right, Norby? Isn't that right, Norby? Yeah, you're so cute.